Hello, my name is Philip and welcome to Totally Amazing. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to draw a fat person. Yeah, I'm going there. This one is actually a suggestion. Previously, I did a video on how to draw arms, and she actually asked how to draw someone with fat arms. So, I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to show you how to draw the whole fat person. So before we get started, I want you to think about three things. Firstly, this is going to sound weird, but imagine dough in a bag.
Dough in a bag.
What do I mean by that? Imagine like your dough, it oozes down, but it's still in a bag, so it sort of gets pulled back. So it's not just going blur, it's sort of oozing, but it's also being held back by the bag. That's what I mean by dough in a bag. Second thing I want you to think about is a pear. Yes, the normal pear fruit. Notice that it's wider at the bottom than it is at the top. And third thing I want you to think about is subscribing to this channel. Yeah. See what I did there? See what I did there? So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to draw a basic skeleton, because the skeleton doesn't change. You can't get a fat skeleton. So I'm just going to put in my basic shapes for a skeleton. So not too much difference in the bodies as you can see from this point. Okay, so now we're going to get into the pear and the dough in a bag. First off, when you think about someone who's fat, the fat starts in the gut. So that's where the bulk of the fat's going to be. So what we want to do from underneath the chest here is we actually want to bulge out. And remember the dough in a bag? That's what we're doing here. Our dough is going down, but then it's coming back. And it's like it's being held up here. So this bit will get bulky as well, but not as bulky as this tummy. So it comes in and we can bring it back like so. So we're getting the bulk in the stomach. The chest is also going to have, well, it's going to have man boobs. We're going to droop down over the tummy a bit. Same on this side. And they droop over a bit. So it's almost like it's being held there, but it's still sort of oozing a bit, but it's being pulled back. So now we go to the head. Now the head's going to be, there's basically going to be no neck. It's all, because it's all fat, so it's all sort of filled out. Because the neck is another place that a lot of fat builds up. So we're going to have, I'm going to draw this shape here. So it's sort of like your pear, basically. Now the face itself is going to be quite small. So I'm just going to draw a basic shape. Mouth, nose. Now the eyes are going to be quite small. In fact, the whole face is going to be quite small. Why is this? Because it helps show that there's bulk on the face. And a lot of parts of the face, there's not much definition, but it all fills out. So there's no tight cheekbones or nice jawline or anything like that. So the chin, it's just going to be a little curve, and it's just going to sort of come around. And literally around. So there we've got our face curving around. Bring that shape down a bit, like so. So the neck is quite thick, the jawline is quite thick, and the neck at the front here is also double chin, so it's actually quite large. So now we're working on the arm. So now over to the arms. Now I still have the same muscle structure, but it's underneath the fat, which is actually oozing over. So what I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to put in my elbow. So what we're doing, instead of drawing the details of the actual muscles, we're actually going to bulge out and get to the elbow and come back. So it's like the bag is pulling the dough back. We'll do the same on this side, bulge out, and it comes back. So the elbow is quite important. It actually shows where it's going to be stopping. See my arm, I've got thin arms, so it stops right there. But if I was a large person, it would bulge around and it'd still have to come back to this point. So the wrist is the same, but now we're doing an upside down pear. So bulging out, but coming in at the base. Bulging out, coming in. And the hands themselves, I'm not going to go into details for the hands because there's a whole lot there. Just again, bulge them out. So that's one arm, and then just to fill in the space a little bit between them. So that's the same on this side. Now notice the shoulders, they sort of hunker over because there's a lot more weight carrying them. Now this time you're not going to see too much, so I'm just going to bulge that around, but so you can sort of see there's the elbow, and it's still bulging a little bit underneath it, but coming back to that point. And again, out and down. And we've got our hands down here. Okay, so now for the legs, very similar to the arms. So I'm going to put in my knee again. And now the legs are going to bulge out and back, and they're going to sort of come over a little bit of the knee. So the knee is bulging, having this stuff oozing over the top of it. And that's how we get our knee. And the legs again bulge out and join up and down with our foot. Nice broad foot. I'm not going to go into too much detail with the foot, I'm just going to imply them. Same on this side, you bulge out. Where's our knee? It's over here. Bulge out and go over the knee a little bit. Again on this side and come back. So you can see the groin a bit better. And bulge out, down for our lower legs with our broad foot. So now, depending on how heavy you want your character to be, is depending how wide you bulge it out. When you want to bulge out, like the stomach, I can bulge it out a little bit more. I can even have it hang over a little bit, but it depends on how big you're making your character. So that's our male. Now I'm going to go over to our female. Same thing again, but different proportions because different parts of the body. Starting with the stomach again, because that's where the bulk of the weight starts. Now there are going to be some little differences, so I'll show you when we get to them. So the tummy, we've got the wider hips, as you can see here. So the tummy is going to go out and sort of sit down here. Bit of the butt and come back up. So it's sort of hanging over a bit. I'm going to just put a bit of a line here to insinuate that the tummy is sort of around, but it's sort of going around and hooking back. And you can have some folds there as well. Now the chest, the breasts are going to be quite enlarged and they're going to come down a bit and sort of have that whole dough in a bag effect. From here, I'm going to bring them out, but they're going to sort of almost sit on the tummy. And they're going to be quite wide because the weight of gravity is sort of, it pulls them down as far as it can and then they sort of spread out. That's where the breasts will go. Now the head, again, similar shape to the male's head, but we're going to just have it a little bit softer in certain points. So I'm going to draw the same basic shape. My lady. Neck is quite wide. And I'm going to just have a few little cute little chin coming around. Female mouth. Smaller nose and our eyes. You want your features to be quite small. Here will be over here. Now I'm just going to soften the cheeks a little bit. But again, we still want that wider neck. And of course she'll have hair. But we're just focusing on the body at the moment, so I'm not going to do the hair. Now the shoulders are going to be a little bit more of a harsh angle because the muscles aren't as broad on a female than they are on a male. So the arms are going to be quite lower. They're still going to have that bulk, but the angle of them points down a bit more. Yeah, and the same thing with the arms. So I'm going to draw my elbow, and we've got our dough in a bag. And again, coming out for the forearms, quite wide. Same on this side. We've got our inner elbow there. And it's going to curve around it, and the bulky arm with our hands down here. Okay, now the legs. This is one of those differences between men and women. The bulk of the weight is basically in the center of the leg here. For a female, I'm going to have it higher because they've got broader hips, so the weight will be up higher. So I'm going to go out to about here and then come down. So it makes it look like it's a female proportioned hip, and comes back. From the groin again, we're going down, higher hip, but I'm going wide with the knee again, so we've got our fat drooping over the top. And same at the base, quite broad legs with our feet. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to ink our characters, and then I'm going to rub out all the lines that we don't need so we can clearly see our characters that are carrying this excess weight. So there you go. So remember your key features here. You want to think of a pear. So we've got our pear-shaped body, pear-shaped head, pear-shaped body, pear-shaped head. The legs bow out more in the center for a male, whereas they bow out higher in the thigh for a lady. And you've got your dough in the bag, whereas a normal arm with the fat person, the dough comes over a bit and comes back. So it's basically going over this muscle, oozing over this muscle and coming back. So that's the idea behind the fat in a bag. So I hope that's given you some good tips on how to draw your characters that are carrying this excess weight. So in this video, I mentioned drawing hands and breasts. I didn't go into too much detail. That's because, boom, right here I have how to draw hands, and right here I have how to draw breasts. Check it out right now, and I'll see you next time.